All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode here at Whiteboard Medicine. We appreciate you checking it out. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Today is going to be a very brief overview comparing VQ mismatch to pulmonary shunting. It's kind of a blast off because we did individual episodes on VQ mismatch and pulmonary shunting. Definitely check those out if you haven't, because this is going to be just a direct comparison between the two to kind of play off those two other episodes. So as always, none of this is intended to be acted upon as medical advice. Please read this disclaimer in its entirety before moving on. Let's get in. So the core difference between VQ mismatch and pulmonary shunting as causes of hypoxemia, they are related, but they are not identical. VQ mismatch, okay, this means ventilation and perfusion are both present, but they're poorly matched. Either there's not enough perfusion for areas that are being ventilated, or there's not enough ventilation for areas that are being perfused, but they are both present. Pulmonary shunting, on the other hand, means there is perfusion, but there is no ventilation. The blood is just shunting past unventilated alveoli. So more simply, VQ mismatch, there's some air, there's some blood, but it is poorly matched. Shunt is there's blood, but there is no air. And then dead space, we put air without blood, but we probably won't dive into that here. And we should say before we move on, if you want this exact document, this exact PDF, download it, annotate it, reference it later. All of our episodes, study guides, are available on our Patreon page, our Emergency Critical Care Patreon community. And we've been really excited about it. It's been growing like mad at the time of recording. I think there's over 1,000 Patreon members there. It's not just study guides. We have all the videos ad-free. We have mini courses on all emergency critical care topics, full ICU curriculums, practice question banks, clinical reviews, ICU one-pagers, we already said mini courses because we're so excited about that. And we actually do every other day emergency critical care medical education posts on there. So we'd love for you to consider joining it. If you're interested, we'll link it in the episode description and the pinned comment on YouTube. And maybe we'll see you there. All right, so if we were to briefly overview what VQ mismatch is, VQ mismatch exists on a spectrum. There's low VQ and high VQ. The way we think about it is you draw VQ as a coefficient, V on top, Q on bottom, right? That's how it's listed. So low VQ means low ventilation. High VQ means high ventilation. So low VQ is low ventilation compared to the amount of blood flow, and high VQ is high ventilation compared to the amount of blood flow. So low VQ means too little ventilation for the amount of perfusion. Examples: asthma, COPD, pulmonary edema, pneumonia, atelectasis. You essentially have an alveolar unit that is not getting quite enough oxygen in, but it's getting plenty of perfusion. Whereas high VQ means there's too little perfusion for the amount of ventilation. So this would be that this alveoli is getting plenty of blood, plenty of oxygen, no issue there, but there's actually not enough blood being perfused to it. This is going to be things like pulmonary embolism, obstructing blood flow, low cardiac output, excessive PEEP, because excessive PEEP will collapse the alveolar capillaries. So these are both VQ mismatch, but one is high VQ, too much ventilation for the amount of perfusion, and one is low VQ, too little ventilation for the amount of perfusion. This is in comparison to pulmonary shunting. Pulmonary shunting is essentially when there is no ventilation for the amount of perfusion. The VQ matches 0, right? Ventilation equals 0. So it's 0 over perfusion, which equals 0. VQ matching is 0. Blood is just flowing past alveoli that receive no meaningful ventilation. And you can envision this lives on a spectrum, right? Pulmonary shunting is essentially when ventilation gets so bad it goes to 0. So you start with VQ mismatch, and then that ventilation gets so bad when it goes to 0, it becomes a pulmonary shunt. Things like complete atelectasis, dense pneumonia, ARDS, alveolar hemorrhage. The shunted blood essentially just stays venous-like. It never actually gets oxygenated. And the oxygen response is important here, and it makes sense. In VQ mismatch, oxygen usually improves. Supplemental oxygen usually will improve saturations, oxygenation, because the affected alveoli still get some ventilation. So if that alveoli is still getting some ventilation, right, let's say that this alveoli usually gets 2 oxygens, right, because it's got maybe some pulmonary edema. But then, and that's at 21% FiO2, that is room air is 21% FiO2. But we increase that, we put on a non-rebreather, and we increase it to 100% FiO2. Well, that means there's going to be about 5 times more oxygen available. So those 2 oxygen are actually now 10 oxygen, and that is going to lead to improvement in oxygen saturation. Whereas true shunt responds poorly to oxygen because there's no ventilation at all, right? That alveolus doesn't have 2 oxygen in it, it has none, right? There's no oxygen that is able to get into it. So whether I increase the number of oxygens from 2 to 10 to 1 million, none of them are getting into that alveolus. So it does not improve oxygenation when I increase the amount of FiO2. All right, take-home points and some practice questions. Take-home points, VQ mismatch means air and blood are poorly matched, whereas pulmonary shunt means there's blood flow without air. Pulmonary shunting is essentially a VQ match of 0, no ventilation, 0 ventilation with preserved perfusion. Blood is just flowing past a non-ventilated alveolus. VQ mismatch generally improves with supplemental oxygen because there's still some ventilation, whereas true shunt responds very poorly to supplemental oxygen. Low VQ moves towards shunting as it gets worse and worse. Let's get into 3 practice questions, see if we learned anything in this very brief comparator video. We should say episode because some people listen to the podcast version, which is awesome. The way we do practice questions, if you have not done them with us before, is we read the question, read the answer options, and then we go right into the answer. So if you have questions, just make sure you pause it because we're going to jump right into the answer. Question number 1, which phrase best describes pulmonary shunting? A, air without blood, B, blood without air, C, low inspired oxygen, or D, low hemoglobin. Pause if you need to. Correct answer is B, blood without air, right? Pulmonary shunting is when there's perfusion without ventilation. Blood is being shunted past non-ventilated alveoli. The VQ match is 0, no ventilation. All right, question number 2. Why does VQ mismatch usually improve with supplemental oxygen? A, some ventilation is still reaching the affected alveoli. B, oxygen reverses all pulmonary emboli. C, oxygen increases hemoglobin concentration. D, oxygen eliminates pulmonary blood flow. Pause if you need to. The correct answer is A, some ventilation is still reaching the affected alveoli. It's just mismatched. But if you increase the amount of FiO2, more oxygen will get into that partially ventilated alveoli and improve oxygen saturation. All right, last question, then everybody can go about their days. Why does true shunt respond poorly to supplemental oxygen? A, oxygen cannot reach the non-ventilated alveoli. B, the AA gradient is always normal. C, perfusion is absent. Or D, hemoglobin cannot bind oxygen. Pause it if you need to. The correct answer is A, oxygen cannot reach non-ventilated alveoli. In shunting, the alveoli is completely collapsed. There is no air getting to it. So you can increase the FiO2 all you want, but none of that is getting into the alveoli. So it's not going to improve your oxygen saturation. All right, that is all we have for you today. Let us know what thoughts, comments, questions you have down below. Again, we'd love for you to check out our Patreon community for emergency critical care. And we also have YouTube members community too. We'd love for you to check that out too. It's pretty awesome. Either way though, stay well, keep learning. We sure hope to see you next time. If I could borrow a quick 60 seconds of your time, I wanted to introduce you to a community we're really excited about building, and that is our Patreon community. In this community, you will get access to high-yield medical education posts, ad-free videos, study guides, practice questions, mini courses, book chapters, and much more. You will see that by joining this community, you will get access to the PDFs, the study guides for every single YouTube video. Here's an example of one of those right now. In addition to that, you will get access to mini courses. In these courses, we will have videos, study guides, practice questions, bedside tips and tricks, and 30 practice questions at the end to test your knowledge. In addition to that, we have collections on every major emergency critical care topic that contains videos, medical education posts, practice questions, study guides, all categorized. And lastly, we have book chapters. These book chapters are high-yield clinical reviews, such as this one on the basics of mechanical ventilation. Beyond that, we have ad-free videos, we have practice questions, and we are constantly innovating and integrating new resources for you all. If you have a passion for emergency critical care medicine like us, consider joining this community today. In it, we hope that you will find all the resources necessary to push your knowledge to the next level and really improve the bedside care of these critically ill patients.